The station hung quietly in the void, a lone silver shape floating between distant stars. For most of its history, the facility had been a research hub, where humans studied the strange, the alien, and the impossible. But today it was more than a station. It was home to an unexpected guest, an alien unlike any human had seen before. Jared Kepler, a young maintenance technician, had been on shift for almost 12 hours when the emergency call came through. Unknown life form detected in docking bay 7, the alert had said. Most of the time these alerts were false alarms, floating debris, sensor glitches, or the occasional bird that had survived space in some improbable way. But something about this call made Jared uneasy. When he arrived, he found the alien. She, Jared assumed she was female based on her gestures, was crouched in a puddle of what looked like water, her translucent skin shimmering with colors he had never seen. Her large eyes blinked at him, wide and unafraid but curious. "Hello," Jared said slowly. Jared, are you okay?" The alien made a series of soft musical noises. Then, in a tone that somehow carried both urgency and politeness, she spoke in a heavily accented, broken form of galactic basic. "Help!" "Wash!" Jared froze. "Wash?" he asked, glancing at the puddle beneath her. It looked like she had fallen into a containment pool of some kind. But she wasn't hurt. If anything, she seemed distressed. "Wash me," she repeated, tilting her head and looking at him with wide, unblinking eyes. Her skin rippled as though water ran beneath it, glowing faintly. Important life, Jared's mind raced. Wash her? This had never been part of his training. He had cleaned equipment, repaired engines, and even handled strange alien microbes, but he had never been asked to wash an intelligent life form, and yet there was something in her eyes, something desperate yet trusting that made him step closer. "Okay," he said cautiously. "I think I can help." But, how?" The alien's head tilted again, her glowing form pulsing softly. She reached a hand toward him, a gesture that was both inviting and insistent. Jared took a deep breath. He had learned that in space, sometimes trust and courage mattered more than training manuals. He led her to the nearest hydro-clean bay. The station's cleaning systems were usually used for equipment, but they had human-sized chambers that could handle biological specimens safely. The alien stepped in without hesitation, her fluid-like body flowing with ease. She seemed to relax the moment she was inside, as though she had been waiting for this very moment. Jared activated the gentle rinse cycle, and a soft spray of warm water fell over her. To his amazement, her skin reacted like a living prism, refracting the light in brilliant shifting colors. Each droplet seemed to pass through her body rather than just over it. She made soft humming sounds, almost like a song. Jared realized that this was not just washing. It was some kind of ritual, something essential for her survival. "You need this?" he asked, more to himself than to her. She nodded slowly, her eyes meeting his. "Yes, humans strong can help." Jared felt a surge of pride. Humans had always considered themselves fragile in the cosmic scale, pale, hairless creatures who were weaker than most aliens. But here he was, the first human this alien had trusted enough to ask for help. He wasn't sure what her species could do, but he felt important, useful, human. As the rinse cycle continued, Jared noticed something remarkable. The alien's body seemed to store the water, filtering it internally. Each movement she made pushed the liquid around, almost like she was breathing it in and out. He remembered reading about hydrobiology on alien worlds. Some species relied entirely on water for energy and metabolism, but he had never seen it in action, especially not so intimately. "You thirsty?" he asked, holding a small container of purified water. She tilted her head again, almost laughing in a way that reminded him of a child. She made a sound like, "Ah," then dipped her hand into the water and touched her lips. That was enough. Her species absorbed water in multiple ways, apparently. Jared worked carefully, adjusting the spray, making sure it was warm but gentle. He noticed that she reacted to sudden changes, flickering in color when he made a mistake. He learned quickly, discovering a rhythm, a connection. It was almost like dancing, human hands guiding alien form, each movement important, each response meaningful. "Name?" "Jared?" she asked softly during a pause in the washing. "Yes?" "Jared Kepler," he replied, smiling despite the absurdity of the situation. "And you?" What's your name?" She hesitated. The station's lights reflected in her eyes, making them look like twin moons. Neria, she said finally. Neria, Jared repeated, testing the sound. Nice to meet you. I've never watched an alien before. She let out a sound that was almost laughter, though it vibrated through the water around her. First, always first. Important. It struck Jared how much meaning could be packed into so few words. He realized that for Neria this was more than hygiene. It was trust. She was giving him a responsibility he could barely imagine, and he wanted to do it right. Hours passed. Or maybe only minutes. The station clock seemed meaningless against the rhythm of this strange ritual. The two moved in silent understanding, human and alien, in a strange harmony. Jared found himself learning about Neria's species just by watching her reaction to the water. Certain temperatures, certain pressures, certain motions, these things were sacred, vital. A misstep could stress her or even harm her. By the time the rinse cycle ended, Neria's glow had changed. It was softer, calmer, more balanced. She floated in the chamber, her eyes tracking Jared as if evaluating him, thanking him. And in a way she was. He had proven that humans could be more than fragile, more than simple. He had proven that humans could understand, adapt, and care for life beyond their own species. Finish? He asked. She nodded. Finish. Safe, thanks. Human. Jared felt a flush of pride. He had done something incredible. Not a hero's deed in war or conquest, but a first contact of empathy and skill. Humanity was not just surviving the universe. It was excelling in ways the stars themselves had never imagined. Neria stepped out of the hydro-clean bay. Her form shimmered with renewed vitality. She approached Jared, reaching a hand to touch his shoulder in what he interpreted as gratitude. Then she tilted her head toward the station's main corridor. Walk. Show, she said. Jared smiled. Lead the way, Neria. As she moved ahead, gliding effortlessly, he realized that this was only the beginning. If a human could learn the secrets of an alien biology, if a human could gain the trust of a species completely unknown, what else was possible? The universe was wide, dangerous, and beautiful, but humans had something unique. Curiosity, courage, and compassion. And Jared suddenly felt very human indeed. The station corridors hummed softly as Jared followed Neria, the alien's glowing form moving like liquid light. Her skin reflected the station lights in shades he could barely name, violet, green, and flashes of gold. Each step she took left a faint wet shimmer on the floor, evidence of her unusual biology. Jared wondered how she survived in the vacuum of space and why she had ended up here in the first place. You, from? He asked, careful to keep his voice calm. Neria tilted her head, considering. Home, lost, travel, accident. Her words were broken, but clear enough. Ship, broken, drift, fear. Jared nodded. He had guessed as much. The station was far from the nearest inhabited systems, a lonely outpost meant for research and maintenance. Being stranded here was dangerous, especially for an alien species unfamiliar with human technology. Don't worry, he said. We'll get you safe. I'll find someone who can help fix your ship. She made a sound like a soft sigh, but it was musical, almost like a note held too long. Jared couldn't be sure, but he thought she was relieved. As they reached the main lab, Jared called Dr. Simone Harper, the station's lead xenobiologist. Within minutes she appeared, her white coat catching the light. Jared, what is it? Dr. Harper, you need to see this, he said, leading her toward Neria. I think she's alive, and she's asking. Well, she needed to be washed first. Dr. Harper blinked, her eyes wide behind her glasses. Wash her? Oh, I see. You mean like a hydro-cleaning protocol for an alien life form. Good instincts, Jared. She knelt slightly to meet Neria's level. Hello, I'm Dr. Harper. Can you understand me? Neria's eyes glimmered. Yes, human. Help. Dr. Harper smiled gently. You are safe here. We will help you repair your ship. Jared stepped back, trying not to crowd Neria. He noticed how her glowing body pulsed differently in response to the doctor's calm words. He realized that her species communicated not just with sound or gestures, but with subtle light signals, almost like emotions made visible. Over the next few hours, the lab became a small hub of discovery. Dr. Harper ran scans and collected samples of the strange water that made up part of Neria's biology. Jared watched, fascinated. She was not like any life form they had cataloged before. Her cells seemed to store energy in water itself, processing it like food and oxygen combined. Humans could learn from this, Dr. Harper said, examining the scans. Imagine our energy systems if we could store and process water like she does. Jared felt a rush of pride again. Humanity, fragile as they often seemed, had the mind and skill to interact with life forms far beyond their understanding. He looked at Nerea and realized that she had trusted him, a human with something incredibly intimate, her survival. After the initial scans, Dr. Harper suggested that Nerea needed rest. Her metabolism is different, she explained. She absorbs energy from water, light, and even subtle vibrations. She needs to settle before any repairs can be done. Jared nodded. I'll show her to the guest quarters. The quarters were simple but comfortable, designed for humans, but Jared had prepared a shallow pool for Nerea. She slipped into it immediately, flowing across the surface as though she were part of the water itself. Jared leaned against the wall, fascinated. Her glow dimmed slightly, signaling relaxation. As the station hummed around them, Jared thought about how different humans were. Their bodies were fragile, their survival dependent on technology and food. Yet their minds were powerful, capable of learning, adapting, and helping beings like Nerea. She had chosen him, a human, to trust in a moment of need. That was something remarkable. That was HFY in action. Hours later, Nerea emerged from her pool, her glow steady and calm. Ready, help, she said. Jared looked at Dr. Harper. Do you think she can assist us? Dr. Harper nodded. Yes, her biology is advanced, yes, but she can also learn quickly. And she has information about her species' technology that we don't. This is an opportunity. Over the next days, Nerea became part of the station's routine. She moved fluidly through the corridors, her presence mesmerizing. Humans adjusted to her, and she adjusted to them. Communication improved as Jared and Dr. Harper developed a system combining words, gestures, and light signals. One day, while repairing a control panel, Nerea reached out her glowing tendrils. Human. Clever. Fix. Fast, strong. Jared felt a flush of pride. Thanks. But you helped too. She tilted her head, a movement full of grace and curiosity. Together, help. Both species. Strong. It struck Jared how profound this was. Humans often thought of themselves as fragile. But here they were, not only surviving but collaborating with a completely alien species. They were proving their worth on a cosmic scale, showing adaptability, empathy, and intelligence. As Nerea learned more about human technology, she began to offer insights that amazed even Dr. Harper. This material, stronger than steel, she said one afternoon, pointing at the station's hull. Humans, clever. Mix elements differently, efficient. Jared laughed. We like to think we're smart, but sometimes we just get lucky. Nerea's glowing form pulsed. Luck, humans, skill, both needed. The human-alien collaboration became routine, yet every day was a discovery. Jared realized that HFY wasn't just about strength or courage. It was about curiosity, empathy, and the ability to rise to challenges no other species might dare face. Humans had something unique. One evening, the station's alarm blared. Jared and Nerea rushed to the observation deck. A nearby asteroid field had shifted unexpectedly, sending massive rocks hurtling toward the station. Impact! Danger! Nerea warned. Jared's heart raced. The station's defenses were minimal, designed mostly to withstand debris, not a concentrated asteroid storm. We need a plan, he shouted. Nerea's glow intensified. Human. Trust. Use. Control systems. Following her guidance, Jared accessed the station's thrusters and control panels. She pointed out which mechanisms to use, her movements precise and intuitive. For a moment he realized that her species had evolved in ways humans could never imagine, surviving dangers he couldn't even comprehend. But Jared and Nerea worked together. His hands moved on the controls while hers glowed over the systems, her light pulsing in rhythm with the station's alarms. The thrusters fired. The station shifted, and the largest incoming rock passed just meters from the hull. Safe. For now, Nerea said, the glow of relief spreading through her form. Jared exhaled deeply, gripping the panel. That was close. Dr. Harper appeared beside them, her face pale but impressed. Incredible. You two handled that better than I thought possible. Nerea, your guidance was essential. And Jared, your quick thinking saved the station. Nerea tilted her head toward him, a gesture that seemed like pride. Human, strong, clever. For Jared, it was a moment of revelation. Humans were not the strongest or the fastest in the galaxy, but they had courage, intelligence, and a unique ability to adapt. They could rise to challenges that others might fail to meet. They could earn trust, form bonds, and work alongside even the most alien beings. That was HFY, the essence of humanity shining in the stars. As the asteroid storm subsided, Jared and Nerea stood together on the observation deck, watching distant meteors streak across the void. She reached out her glowing hand and touched his shoulder in a gesture that, to him, felt like gratitude, friendship, and trust all at once. Together. Strong, she said. Yes, Jared replied. Together. And for the first time, Jared truly understood the scope of human potential. Not in weapons or power, but in curiosity, empathy, and courage. He knew that whatever challenges awaited them in the vast universe, humans could face them, and perhaps even shine brighter than anyone imagined. The station hummed with quiet energy as Jared and Nerea worked together in the lab. Weeks had passed since she first arrived, and the small crew had grown accustomed to her presence. She moved fluidly among humans, her glowing body reflecting the station lights, teaching them about her species' technology and learning human ways in return. But today was different. Today they would attempt something unprecedented, repairing her ship. Jared stood beside Dr. Harper, studying the schematics projected on the holo display. Nerea floated nearby, her translucent form shimmering softly. Ready? He asked. She tilted her head, her glow pulsing a calm blue. Yes, humans. Help. Important, Jared smiled. Humans had faced many challenges, but this one felt special. It wasn't just fixing a machine. It was bridging two species, two worlds, through trust and collaboration. He realized how far they had come since that first awkward rinse in the hydroclean bay. Okay, he said, let's begin. The ship was unlike anything humans had built or studied before. It wasn't made of metal in the traditional sense. Its hull seemed to be a living structure, flexible and adaptive, composed of bioluminescent materials. Tiny channels ran through its surface, carrying fluids that powered the ship, similar to Nerea's own biology. Dr. Harper glanced at Jared. This is going to be delicate. We can't make a mistake. Jared nodded, his hands steady despite the enormity of the task. We won't. Nerea moved closer, extending her tendrils to the ship's surface. Follow. Rhythm, flow, energy. He watched carefully as she traced the channels with her light, showing him how the fluids needed to circulate. Jared mimicked her movements, careful not to disturb the delicate balance. It felt like performing surgery on a living creature. Hours passed. The human and alien worked side by side, learning each other's methods. Jared realized that humans' strength was not brute force or superior biology. It was adaptability, curiosity, and patience. He had learned to observe Nerea's signals, to respond to her subtle changes in glow and motion, and to adjust accordingly. Each step forward was a triumph of collaboration. Suddenly, a surge of energy pulsed through the ship. Jared froze. The ship's fluid channels were unstable, and a misstep could cause a catastrophic failure. Careful, Nerea warned, her voice urgent. Jared concentrated, recalling everything he had learned from Nerea. He adjusted the control valves, stabilized the energy flow, and mirrored her movements as precisely as possible. Slowly, the pulse subsided. The ship's glow evened out, radiating a steady, soft light. Nerea's form shimmered with relief. Good human. Clever, careful. Jared felt a warm rush of pride. Humanity was fragile in many ways, but they had something extraordinary. The ability to rise to challenges, to learn quickly, and to earn trust. He looked at Nerea and realized that she had come to rely on humans as much as humans had come to rely on her. Almost there, Dr. Harper said, examining the final systems. Just a few more adjustments. Jared and Nerea moved together, their rhythms seamless. He opened channels, monitored energy flows, and made careful calibrations while she guided his hands and glowing tendrils along the ship's surface. Slowly but surely, the vessel began to stabilize completely. At last, Nerea's ship hummed with life, a soft bioluminescent glow spreading evenly across its hull. She hovered above it, her form reflecting relief and gratitude. Ready, home. Jared stepped back, watching her. You'll be okay? Her glow pulsed soft and steady. Yes, thanks. Human, strong, clever, together, both species. For a moment, Jared felt a deep sense of accomplishment. He had helped a completely alien species survive, thrive, and regain a part of their world. Humanity's strength wasn't in weapons or speed. It was in the ability to understand, adapt, and connect. This was HFY in action. Before she left, Nerea turned to Jared. Remember, curiosity. Courage, important, Jared smiled. I will. You taught me a lot, too. She extended a glowing tendril, gently tapping his shoulder in a gesture of farewell. It wasn't just a goodbye, it was respect, friendship, and a bond forged through cooperation. Safe journey, Nerea, Jared said. His voice steady but full of emotion. She tilted her head, her glow fading slightly as she prepared to depart. Say, humans, remember, Mom, strong. With that, the ship's engines hummed and Nerea rose gracefully into the station's docking bay. The bioluminescent lights brightened as the vessel powered up, then slowly detached, gliding toward the open void of space. Jared and Dr. Harper watched in awe as she disappeared among the stars. The station was quiet once again, but the impact of Nerea's presence lingered. Jared realized that humans had proven something important today. They were more than fragile creatures. They were capable of empathy, intelligence, and courage that even alien species could recognize and respect. Dr. Harper turned to him. You did well, Jared, more than well. You showed what humans can do. Jared nodded, still staring at the stars. It wasn't just me. Nerea. She taught me too, humanity. We just need to be ready to learn and trust. That's our strength. In the following days, the station's crew continued to study the systems Nerea had shown them. They learned new methods of energy transfer, adaptive materials, and biofluid dynamics. Humanity's understanding of the universe had expanded, thanks to the bond between one human and one alien. Jared often thought back to the first moment he had watched Nerea in the hydro-clean bay. What had seemed like a simple, strange task had turned into something far greater. A first step in human-alien collaboration, a lesson in trust and proof that humans could rise to the challenge of the cosmos. One evening, as he looked out at the endless stars, he realized that HFY wasn't about conquering the universe. It was about connection, curiosity, and courage. It was about humans stepping up even in the smallest ways and showing their worth through empathy and intelligence. Somewhere among the stars, Nerea's ship glowed faintly as it moved toward home. Jared felt a quiet pride. Humanity had made a friend, learned a lesson, and proven that even the most fragile species could shine brilliantly in the universe. He turned back toward the station, ready for whatever challenge came next. Humans had shown they could face the unknown, adapt, and thrive, and Jared knew deep in his heart that this was only the beginning. The universe was wide and full of mysteries, but humans were ready. With curiosity, courage, and the ability to trust and learn, they could meet any challenge and maybe, just maybe, shine brighter than the stars themselves. And somewhere in the distance, a glowing alien form drifted peacefully through space, carrying with it the knowledge of friendship, trust, and the promise of a new era for humanity.